Hey, this is Noah from 90.7 The Capstone in the studio today talking to Amberwave, who is one of the finalists in the Battle of the Bands. Thanks for coming to the studio, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Awesome. So we have 2 of the 5 members of Amberwave. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Awesome. So talking to a couple of you guys today, and hopefully we'll be able to see all of you on Thursday. I think it would be best if we started by just hearing from both of you your name and what you do with the band.
All right, I'm Braxton Bobbitt. I'm the rhythm guitarist.
I'm Armand Sheffield, and I'm our lead singer.
Awesome. And who do we not have here today that is also part of the band?
So we have Will Jefferson, who plays bass for us, Trevor Hagenbarth, he's our lead guitarist, and then Ben Davis, he's our drummer.
Awesome. Well, glad the 2 of you could be in the studio. How did the band form? How did you guys get together?
So, we've got some new faces this year, but this is like our second year's Amberwave. It started last year with me and Will Jefferson. We're fraternity brothers, and so there were 2 more of our fraternity brothers, and then Trevor. But 2 guys from last year graduated, and so, then we added Braxton and Ben. So now we're here.
And then where does the name Amberwave come from? Like, what does that mean to you?
Honestly, I have no idea. So it's like me, Will, and Trevor were in a group chat together because we would just jam around and stuff. And so when we were pitching the idea to actually like form a band, Will sends in there like one night, it just said Amberwave, and it just kind of stuck after that.
How would you describe what type of band you are? If someone's never listened to you, what is your genre, your focus? What do you play?
You know, it's funny you say that because, like, we just recorded our first EP, actually.
Nice.
And so one of the comments we got from our audio engineer while we were in the studio, he was like, man, I have a hard time, like, putting y'all into one specific genre. And it's the same way whenever we play covers. We try to do a lot of different things.
Yeah, we bounce around a lot with all the covers we do, really.
What would be an example of some of the genres or artists that you're reaching into whenever you're playing covers?
I mean, we play Bruno Mars, The Strokes, like
The
list goes
Beatles.
on. Yeah, the Beatles. It's just all around, really.
And how does that affect the type of music that you are doing that is originals?
I think it definitely makes us, like, more creative when we're going through the writing process because there's so many different influences that we can draw on.
Yeah, and we all have, like, different taste in music and stuff like that, and that kind of combines.
What would you say of the 2 of you here in the studio today? What would you say are your individual tastes and genres that you bring to the table in the creation process?
I'd say like 2000s pop is like really big thing for me, and then like alternative rock, and then like some classic R&B.
Yeah, I would say like 60s and 70s, like rock, and then kind of modern day rock, mainly rock, a little bit of blues and country.
That's great. And so you said you had an EP coming out, or that had come out recently.
No, it's coming out.
It's coming out. Oh, in a couple weeks. So that's great. That's great. That's pretty good to get to a point where you've been doing covers and now you're releasing your own original music. Is that, do you think, always been the goal for your group to get to a point where you do have original music that you want to share?
Yeah, like from the beginning, we've always said that we wanted to make something of this, and so now to see it like happening is kind of wild.
Do you get to perform those originals as well, or do you have to focus more on the covers whenever you're performing here in Tuscaloosa?
So normally we stick to covers just because like we don't have anything out, so it's hard for people to like know what's going on. But in the last round of Battle of the Bands, we debuted like one of our first singles, so that was a lot of fun. We've got a lot of fun ones coming up for this round too, so it's going to be interesting.
Something to look forward to. How did debuting a song, how did that go over with the crowd?
It was actually like very well received. I was like really surprised. It was like 2 minutes before we went on stage and I was like, guys, I don't think we should play it. But then they were like kind of convinced me into it, and surprisingly that was our best song of the night.
Oh yeah, people were like coming up after and saying how much they liked it and stuff like that. So
I was looking at the rules for the Battle of the Bands and everything, and they said that to be able to participate, you have to be a student group, like a student band. So how do you balance being a student and being a musician?
It's definitely tough. It kind of goes in ebbs and flows of like when you're busy and when you're not. And so it's just like capitalizing on the time that you have to do schoolwork when you don't have anything else to worry about. And so it's just time management.
Yeah. Like I have a job outside of school too, so it's like this is basically a second job, the amount of time that we normally put into this, especially towards the beginning, like right before the semester started. You know, we probably put in like 10, 13 hours a week.
For this EP that's coming out soon, I guess can we get a little tease? Like, what is a good song off of it? that people should be aware of?
So I'd say the one we played the last round of Battle of the Bands is called Not Done With You. But there's a song called Waiting For You that's supposedly a pretty good song. So I'd say that's the one to listen to.
Okay, good deal, good deal. So how has the Battle of the Bands been going? How were the semifinals?
It was a lot of fun. It's so cool to get to see everybody play at the same time because normally everybody has a gig the same night. So you don't know what everybody else is doing.
Oh yeah, and the stage there was amazing too. Like the venue for the Druid City Social was amazing.
Good deal, good deal, good deal. What do you think, maybe think about it in terms of Battle of the Bands, but also just you in general, what do you think makes Amberwave stand out as a local band?
Well, no one sounds quite like us. I think that, like, we are so different because, like, now around here especially, like, the big category of music is, like, jam bands, like Southern rock. And, like, I enjoy those kinds of music, but it's cool to be able to, like, bring something different to the table.
What do you think makes a good live band? What do you think is required for that?
I'd say it's just passion. You know, we just try to give the best show possible, and we want it, like, we want people to see that we're up there having fun, so that way that energy kind of gets infectious.
Mm-hmm. How do you like to keep the energy going whenever you're performing?
It's just a lot of crowd interaction. We'll do like cuts and songs where we know that the crowd's singing along and like they can hear themselves. Kind of creates like a community atmosphere in a way.
Nice, nice. So you're here at the Battle of the Bands, one of the 4 finalists, and so you've to some degree you've made it. Even being at this stage, what advice would you have for other students who are right at the beginning of the process, trying to start their own groups? How can they get to the point where they're at where you are?
Well, number one, I'd say that when you're forming a group, like skill obviously matters, but more so like find people that like you actually like to be around because that makes it 100 times more fun. And then outside of that, just play as much as you can.
You just gotta like keep working at it, really. Like that's one of the biggest things. Like I had actually a project before, like Amberwave picked me up, but like we just never really, pushed it and tried to make it work. So yeah, just actually following through. It's the biggest thing.
How often are you guys playing, like, in a normal week? How many gigs are you doing?
It, like, kind of fluctuates. Sometimes, like, we'll go 2 weeks without, like, anything. And, like, it's cool to have that downtime. But there's been times where we've had, like, 8 shows in the span of 2 weeks. And so then it's like you don't have time for anything else. So,
well, as we're wrapping up here, I wanted to ask, after the Battle of the Bands, what's after that?
Honestly, like, all of us are kind of set on, like, getting to work on, like, a full album. So trying to push that out in the next couple months.
Oh yeah, definitely trying to like stray away from just being covers and stuff like that. Actually, like try to push it forward a little bit.
Well, keep us posted as some of your new music is coming out, and we'd love to hear it. If fans want to find you, where can they find you?
You can follow us on Instagram at the Amberwave Band. We post all of our upcoming shows on there. There's always clips of like our original music on there, and just like what we've been up to, really.
Sounds great. Sounds great. Well, Braxton and Armand, thanks for coming in the studio.
Thanks for having us, man.
Thanks for having us.
Sure thing. This is 90.7 The Capstone talking to all the finalists as part of the Battle of the Bands. You can see them all performing on Thursday at the Druid City Music Hall.